All right, so in this video, I want to show you how to start placing track and how to edit. So we're going to start with the standard AnyRail screen. And let's go over here and pick a 39-inch piece of flex. And we're now going to zoom in. Let's just drag him to the middle like that. And then let's zoom in. Okay. When the track is gray like this, you can find out information about it two ways. I can hover over the track, and then down at the bottom you'll see that it describes the track and where it is in its XY coordinates. But when I move the mouse away, that goes away. So if I want to keep that up there for reference, I can just click on it. Now I can move my mouse, and it still says what the track is, but it's not telling you the coordinates of the track. It's telling you the coordinates of the mouse. You can see that moving over there. Okay, so if I want to move this piece of track, I just come over and I click on it, hold down my left mouse button, and I can move it around the screen as I want. Remember, track does not snap to anything. So I'm going to place this piece back right on the major grid there, right at the junction. Okay, let's say we want to stretch this piece of track out. We want it to be a little bit longer. Let's move over there. Let's lose our layers. We don't really need that up there. Okay, so I come over here and notice how the end is highlighted. If I hold down the Shift key and then hold down my left mouse button, I can drag this piece of track to whatever length I want. I can make it really short, and I can make it really long. And you'll notice that it's just moving horizontally. My mouse is going up and down, but it's still moving horizontally. Shift grabs that and makes it move in a straight line. Now, if I didn't do that, and I just went and grabbed it, and I move it a little bit, you'll notice it starts getting a curve. So let's move it down here. Select it. And then down here we can see that we put in a 42.5-inch radius. And the reason I like using Shift is if you're moving stuff around, if you look down at the bottom, you can see it's telling me that I have a radius of 2,415 inches. So I kind of like using Shift. I use this freehand when I'm connecting up different pieces of track. It works better for that. So let's put that down there. Let's hit Control Z, and we'll go back to a straight piece of track. Now, let me show you something. We're going to rotate the track. I'm going to show you how to rotate the track. Got a couple ways of rotating the track. I can grab this little handle up here, and I can rotate the track in any direction that I want around the center point. And you'll notice down on the bottom bar, as I rotate it, you'll see it's telling me the rotation, the angle in degrees. So as I rotate it to the right, I'm getting a negative number. As I'm rotating to the left from horizontal, I'm getting a positive number. So let's put that back perfectly horizontal. Now, the other way I can rotate that is when I select the track, you'll see a new menu bar pop up. It says Tools, Track. I can come over here and I can hit Rotate, or I can right-click and I pull up a menu, and I can come up here and I click on Rotate. And that brings up this dialog box. And in the dialog box, I can put in a value. So say I want to rotate it to the right, I would put in minus 45 degrees, and there it goes to the right. I can come up here and I can put 0 degrees. We're back there. I can backspace. I can rotate it to the left. I'll put in 45 degrees. Now it's rotated to the left. Go back to 0. Boom. I can use the slider bar, and it will rotate. And you'll see the angle up in the window. Also notice that down in the bar at the bottom, it's not telling you what the angle is. It's only telling you in this pop-up menu. So let's get that back to 0. Or I can use these buttons. Now remember, a negative number rotates it clockwise. A positive number rotates it counterclockwise. So if I want to rotate 2.5 degrees to the left, I use a positive number. And now we're rotating. Each time I click it, it's going 2.5 degrees. I can go back to 0. If I want to rotate it to the right, every time I click it, 2.5 degrees. And it's telling you what the value is up here. Okay, let me show you one other thing. Let's just rotate it 90 degrees. Doesn't matter which way we go, it's still just a vertical piece of track. We'll hit OK. I can still stretch my track. Come up here, grab it, push the shift, and notice it's going in a straight line. As long as I have that shift key down. So it doesn't matter if the track is horizontal or vertical, it'll go in a straight line. If I grab it without the shift, then I can bend it side to side. Control Z. Let's go and, just for the heck of it, let's put it at 30 degrees. And once again, I can come up here, I can grab it, I hope, shift, and see, no matter what angle you're at, as long as you use shift, it'll go in a straight line. Without shift, I can bend it freehand. Let's put this guy back to 0. See, right now it thinks it's at 60 degrees because it always starts from its last angle. So we'll hit OK. Let's get rid of this guy. Let's just put in a new piece of track. Let's delete him, make him go away. I'm going to pull in another piece of flex. We're going to drag him down here. I showed you how to stretch the flex. I'm going to show you how to curve the flex. There are several ways to curve a piece of flex track. If I zoom in, I've got these handles right here. This is kind of a free hand curve. So I can pull that one up like that. I can pull that one like that. Now, as I'm doing this, notice that red line starts to appear. In settings, we put our minimum radius to 24 inches. This indicates that this section here is under 24 inches. So I will select that, come down here, and you'll see my radius is 19 11/16. So if I want to get rid of that, I can move it like that. And now, as you look down below, you'll see my radius is 29, 30, 30 and 15/16. That's one way to curve a piece of track. Another thing you can do to track is you can glue it. To glue a piece of track, you have two choices. Select the piece of track. It'll pop up the Tools Track menu. I can select glue. Or hover over the track when I've selected it, right click, and I can select glue from the pop-up menu. When I hit glue, you're going to get a little glue pot here. Now that means if I come in and I accidentally grab this piece of track, I cannot move it. It's stuck there. It's never going to go anywhere. I can't stretch it. I can't do anything to it. To make it go away, select it, hit unglue up here or unglue up here. So let's unglue that puppy. That's good if you have two pieces of track put together. And I will show you that. Okay, so now I'm going to take another piece of flex. I'm going to put it like that. I'm going to grab this handle. Watch what happens. This piece is moving as well. Well, I don't want that piece to move. I want you to stay straight. Hit Control Z. Come over here. I'm going to glue you. There. Now it's stuck. Now, I can't move this piece of track. I can't move this piece of track because it's connected there. If I grab this handle, I can't do anything with this handle, because if I did, it would move this track. So this section of the track here is glued, but I can come over here and bend my track or grab the end and move it this way, and you'll notice that it's always going to stay connected here, and this piece is not going to move. So that's a good thing when you're moving and trying to fit in a piece of track, and all of a sudden you'll notice, oh man, this one over here is moving. I don't want that. You just go and hit glue. Let's unglue that, and then let's make you go away. Handy feature. Say I need a shorter piece of track, I can drag it using my shift key, or I can just come up and I can say cut the flex here. And what you do is you pick about where you want to cut the flex. So we'll cut it right on this line here. And I'm going to right click, come up here, and I'm going to say cut flex here. And you'll see I get a connection. Now these two pieces are connected together, but they're actually two separate pieces. I could cut it again. I can cut it right here, and I'll have three pieces. Now say I want to get this piece and move it somewhere else. I would have to disconnect it from the outer two pieces. There are two ways to do this. I can come over here. I can select that connection point. I can hit disconnect up here, or I can right click and hit disconnect. Now it went away. To come over here, do the same thing. Hit disconnect. Now I have three separate pieces of track. Or, and the quicker way, come up here, right click, hit disconnect. Takes away both connection points, and now it's free. That's a quick way to disconnect a piece of track. Okay, now let's say we want to put in a passing siding or just something, another piece of track, but we want it to run parallel to the piece of track we already have. And let me position this one so I can demonstrate that. Okay, now come over here. I got two choices to add a piece of parallel track. I can come up here and click this button, or I can right click and say add parallel flex. Dialog box opens up. Okay, we want our track to be 2.5 inches away from the original piece. I can put it above, to the left, below, or to the right. So we're going to put this one above. Hit OK. And now you'll notice, each of these smaller squares is 1 inch. So it's now 2.5 inches precisely placed. Another thing you might want to do is, let's get rid of this one. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to set the length of a piece of track. So highlight it, right click, and select straight flex. Or I can select straight flex from up here. So select it, dialog box pops up. Tells me right now it's 39 inches. Let's say we wanted that piece to be 16.5 inches. So I'll type in 16.5, hit OK. See down here? I now have a 16.5 inch piece of track. So that's an easy way to just resize a piece of track. Then I can always go and grab it if I need it, if I misjudged and I need to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, let's get to some more fun stuff here. Let's zoom out so we have a little more room to work with. Now we're going to create a curve. A couple ways I can create a curve. I can do it by hand. If I can grab the, there's my curve. But if I need like something, I want to build a 90-degree curve, or I want to build a 180-degree curve. This is kind of clunky. I have to keep dragging these until I get the curve looking right and the radius that I want. So the best way to do this, select your track. You can come up here and hit curve flex, or you can right click and hit curve flex. Now a little box jumps up and it says, what angle? So what angle do you want your curve to be? We're going to take 45 degrees. What radius do you want? Let's make it 30 inches. Hit OK. Now I have a 45-degree curve with a 30-inch radius. So I want to make a 180-degree curve. So I want to copy this. I can copy by coming down here, hitting copy, or I can use Control-C. We'll just use copy. Now we want to paste it back in. Anywhere where your mouse cursor is where the item that you just copied is going to paste back in. So let's right mouse click here, pop up the little dialog box. I can come down to paste, or I could do Control-V on my keyboard. So let's hit paste. I want another one, and we're going to put it right there. And I want another one. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Now we want to make a curve. Grab this piece. Grab this piece. And bring it up. See the blue circles appear. That means we're going to snap the two pieces of track together. Let go of the left mouse button. There it is. Now I've got a 90-degree curve. Grab the next piece. I want to snap it to here so I can continue my curve this way. But just to show you what happens if I grab the other end and snap it, look what happens. Oh, now it's going that way. So if you wanted your curve to do that, you would grab and snap to the other end. We don't want to do that, so we're going to Control Z. We're going to pull that. And then we're going to pull this guy down. We now have a 180-degree curve of 30-inch radius. So we have 4 individual pieces of track, but I can select any one like that. It's telling me down here a little bit about it. It's telling me the radius and what the curve is. But you'll notice that I can move the whole thing as an entity. That's because they're connected. I have the connection points. If I did this, and I said disconnect, now I can grab that one, move him independently. We'll just Control Z, put that back in. 2 Control Z has got us our connections back. Okay, let's pan a little bit. We're going to hold down the right mouse and move that over. We're going to add another piece of flex. And we're going to take this guy and we're going to put him like right there. And we're going to grab another one because that's easier than doing a control copy. And we're going to attach him here. So what we want is we want our track to come out and then curve down. So I'm going to freehand grab this end, bring it down. I now have a connection. And if I highlight this piece of track, I can see down at the bottom that my minimum radius in this curve is 23 and 15/16. So it's almost my 24-inch. But I can come up here and I can select Smooth Flex, or I can right-click and select Smooth Flex and click on it. And you'll notice that it has now made these curves a little bit nicer. It's now 28 1/4. All right, say I didn't want this to be a straight piece of track. I could come over here and I can go like that. And you'll see the red lines appear, telling me my radius is too sharp. Straighten that out. I can come over here and grab this end to bend this end. Uh-oh, look what happens. This guy is moving. We don't want him to move. We want him to stay the same. So what we'll do is we'll Control Z back. We're going to come over here, select him, and we're going to glue him in place. So let's hit glue. Now this piece of track cannot move. I can come over here. I can grab this. I can't move it up and down because it would affect this track. But I can come over here. I can bend this one, or I can grab the end. But you'll notice that this end does not move. So let's say we get this one the way we want it. We want that curve to look like that, and we want that curve to stay that way. Looks bad right here, I know. But I can come up here. Oops. I can come up here. I can now glue this one. I can take another piece of flex, add it on the end. These will always stay the same. So I showed you how to glue track. Let's do one more thing to a piece of track. Let's grab this guy. Come down here. Let's zoom in. So right now, I got a nice piece of track. I can stretch it. I can bend it. I can do all sorts of good stuff. But let's say I get that piece of track the way I want it. I want a piece of track that looks like that for some reason. I can select it, and I can freeze the flex. Either up here, come down here, and right click, freeze. And you'll notice what happened. My little X's that allowed me to make the curves went away. I can grab the end. I can't move the ends. Well, you think it's just glued. Not really. I can move it, and it's going to retain its shape. I can rotate it. It's going to retain its shape. But I can't change the curves. If I want to be able to change the curves again, come up here, hit unfreeze, or over here, hit freeze. See, it's got a little X. Now it means unfreeze. Defreeze? I don't know. Melt. Here, we'll melt it. Now I've got the little handles back, and I can go back and change the track. I like it better that way. Freeze. Now it's stuck there. But I can move it around. That's freeze. Okay, so that shows you how to work with a flex track. Gives you a pretty good idea of everything you can do with it. In the next video, we will add switches. We'll show how to make a passing siding and just add other track goodies. Sorry, this one was even longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to keep them short, but I'm also trying to give you enough detail. So we'll see you in the next video. Any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll try and get to them. In the meantime, see you next time.